What if the gentlest soul in the room is also running the sharpest playbook? Most people notice the warmth first, the way an INFJ makes you feel safe, understood, almost lighter. What they rarely notice is the quiet calculus happening beneath that calm surface. Patterns forming, timelines stretching out, likely outcomes being weighed with surgical precision. It's the paradox that defines them, a saint's heart guided by a strategist's mind. Today we're going to open that vault, step inside the INFJ's inner control room, and see how compassion and strategy fuse into something rare, resilient, and world-changing. Let's begin with the heart, because that's where their story breathes. INFJs don't just listen, they receive. When you speak, they're tracking the rhythm of your sentences, the hitch in your breath, the half-smile that doesn't touch your eyes. They hold space like it's an art form, and for them it is. They remember the small things you mentioned in passing months ago, your grandmother's tea set, the way Thursdays make you anxious, and they circle back when it counts. This isn't performance. It's instinct. Deep empathy sits at their core like gravity, pulling them toward people who hurt, struggle, or stand alone. But here's the part that defines their tenderness. They don't stop at, "I'm sorry." They ask, what would actually help, and then they build toward that. Behind that warmth is an analytical engine most people never witness. While they comfort, they model. While they nod, they simulate. While they validate, they strategize. They are constantly connecting dots across timelines. Who needs to be in the room? What sequence reduces friction? Which message opens a closed door? Which boundary prevents a future wound? Give them a messy problem and they'll quietly design a clean architecture that respects feelings and still works in the real world. It's not manipulation, it's stewardship. They're the person who can sit with your grief on Friday night and by Monday morning has a concrete plan for childcare, finances, and the next medical consult, without making you feel bulldozed or small. This is where their paradox shines. Many people separate heart and head like rival departments. INFJs braid them. Their compassion informs the strategy, their strategy protects the compassion. They ask two questions at once. What's the most humane option? And, what's the most effective route? When those answers align, they move decisively. When those answers conflict, they'll pace, journal, stare through windows, pray, run, or paint until a third path appears. One that honors both truth and tenderness. To outsiders this looks like indecision. To the INFJ, it's fidelity to both values and outcomes. They can delay a choice longer than most, but when the click happens, they act with the certainty of someone who's lived the consequences in their mind 100 times already. In love and friendship, INFJs are depth seekers. They're not opposed to light moments, sarcasm, laughter, ridiculous memes, but their relationships are built on bedrock. Shared values, emotional honesty, and the freedom to evolve. If you're close to an INFJ, you'll feel something uncommon. The sense that your inner life matters in this relationship. They want to know the why behind your patterns, not to weaponize it, but to hold it and help you grow. That can be exhilarating and confronting. They'll reflect your potential back to you with a kindness that still feels like a challenge. They don't want a perfect partner or perfect friends. They want people who are willing to tell the truth, try again, and repair when necessary. Boundaries are the crucible for INFJ relationships. Their instinct to give can outpace their capacity to receive. They'll pick up emotional weight others drop and carry it 3 extra miles without complaint, until the day their energy account hits zero and the infamous door close activates. Contrary to memes, it's not vengeful. It's a safety protocol triggered after repeated harm, disrespect, or misalignment. Before that point, they will have tried conversation, compromise, reframing, and forgiveness. When they finally step back, it's because staying would betray their values, or quietly destroy their health. If you love an INFJ, don't wait for the emergency brake. Notice the earlier signals: their silence is lengthening, their laughter thinning, their availability shrinking. Ask, what do you need from me to feel safe and seen? Then do it. In the workplace, purpose is oxygen. An INFJ can do just a job, but the cost is steep. They thrive when their daily effort contributes to something real: healing, justice, learning, creativity, dignity. When the mission is meaningful, they become engines, writing, organizing, leading, building systems that care for people while hitting metrics that matter. They're exceptional at designing processes that don't grind the humanity out of teams. If they lead, expect a culture where feedback has empathy, results have context, and celebrations include quieter wins like mentorship and mental health. They'll fight for structural improvements others ignore: kinder onboarding, reasonable timelines, transparent communication, flexible accommodations. Not flashy, but culture-defining. Corporate theater drains them: politics for politics' sake, empty mission statements, public virtue with private disregard. If forced to choose between profit and people, they'll try to find a third route that honors both. If there isn't one, they'll sleep poorly until they change the system or leave it altogether. Give them a complicated initiative with human consequences, and they will map it end to end: stakeholder motives, unintended side effects, fail-safes, and ethical pivots if things go sideways. Their shadow at work is perfectionism. Their standards are high, especially for themselves, and they can rewrite drafts into oblivion. The growth move is learning when excellent becomes the enemy of done, and trusting collaborative feedback instead of carrying everything alone. Let's talk intuition, the part of the INFJ that feels like a magic trick until you watch it carefully. Their gut isn't random. It's layers of pattern recognition, micro-observation, and long memory synthesizing faster than language can catch up. They'll say, "I don't think this partnership is right," and have 5 subtle reasons they can't articulate yet. A misaligned incentive, a smile that never reaches the eyes, a timeline that guarantees resentment, a promise that skips specifics, a budget that signals neglect down the road. Weeks later, when the cracks show, it looks prophetic. It wasn't. It was quiet data processed at speed. This gift can be lonely. Seeing the trajectory before others do means you carry a burden of future knowledge. You warn. People nod, smile, and continue. The INFJ breathes, recalibrates, and starts building buffers so the landing hurts less when reality arrives. Sometimes they're wrong, and the healthy ones can admit it quickly, update the model, apologize, move forward. The unhealthy ones become rigid, clinging to early impressions like law. Growth looks like confidence without certainty. I have a strong read, but let's test it. Communication is the canvas where their inner world becomes tangible. INFJs often prefer writing, because it lets them slow the stream, organize layers, and say the precise thing rather than the acceptable thing. When they do speak, they track impact, facial feedback, body shifts, the energy in the room, and they adapt. They can translate complex ideas into human language and human pain into actionable plans. But they also assume others track subtext like they do, which leads to a classic INFJ moment. Didn't you get what I meant? Clear, direct follow-ups are their friend. So is remembering that not everyone thinks in metaphors or chessboards. Creativity is not a hobby for INFJs, it's ventilation. Art, music, storytelling, woodworking, gardening, design, photography. These become pressure valves where feeling and thought can braid into shape. Their work tends to hold themes of redemption, justice, grief, and transformation. It doesn't have to be dramatic to be profound. A single paragraph can drop you to your knees. A simple system they designed for a school or clinic can quietly change lives. The challenge is living with the gap between the glowing vision in their head and the imperfect thing the world allows: budget limits, time crunches, human mess. Learning to love the draft, ship anyway, and iterate in public is liberating. Let's be honest about the shadows. The rescuer loop is real: seeing pain, stepping in, postponing their own needs, earning gratitude, crashing later. It can feel noble right up until the crash. There's also rumination, running postmortems long after the room is empty, analyzing conversations at 2 a.m., forecasting disasters so often that joy gets postponed, until it's safe. Some INFJs hide anger so thoroughly they don't notice it's become exhaustion. Others hold such exacting standards for authenticity that they dismiss good people for being clumsy, shy, or simply different. Healing often begins with 3 moves: daily boundaries that feel small but are sacred, a body practice that anchors them in the present moment, and one relationship where they can be unfiltered without fear of being too much. Growth for an INFJ is about integration, not reinvention. It looks like choosing boundaries before burnout. It looks like letting delight be productive: walks, music, food, sunlight, mess. Because sensation isn't the enemy of meaning, it's one of its doors. It looks like asking for help before the crisis and receiving it without apology. It looks like practicing good enough on projects that don't need to be perfect. It looks like disagreeing kindly but clearly in real time rather than drafting the perfect email at midnight. It looks like trusting their read while inviting disconfirming data on purpose. It looks like loving the world fiercely while remembering they're part of it, too. Do INFJs change the world? Quietly, yes. Sometimes loudly, too. You'll find them behind reforms that make hospitals kinder and schools safer. You'll find them writing novels that teach empathy or building nonprofits that close gaps others stopped seeing. You'll find them consulting in boardrooms, asking the one question that reroutes an entire strategy towards something more humane. You'll find them in friendships that turn people into better versions of themselves. And you'll rarely find them bragging about any of it. They're not chasing a spotlight, they're aiming a lamp at what matters. If you're close to an INFJ, here's how to love them well. Understand that solitude is not distance, it's charging the battery that powers their care. Meet them at depth, share your hopes, your fears, your real questions, and watch their eyes light up. Be honest, especially when it's awkward. They'd rather face hard truth than live on polite fiction. Keep your promises or renegotiate them out loud, mixed signals wear them down. When they offer insight, don't take it as indictment, hear the gift inside it. Notice their effort. They're often the glue no one compliments because the crisis never happened. Invite joy on purpose. Give them permission to be playful, imperfect, and fully present. If you are an INFJ, here's your reminder. You are not broken for needing quiet. You are not too much for feeling deeply. You are not naive for believing kindness can be engineered into systems. Your combination of tenderness and strategy is not a contradiction, it's a calling. Guard your energy like it's precious, because it is. Put your oxygen mask on first, not because you're selfish, but because you're a long-distance runner and the race is long. Keep choosing both, and over either, or, truth and love, boundaries and availability, goals and grace. Ship the thing. Say the thing. Rest the body. Let joy count. So, what do we call an inner life that refuses to choose between mercy and mastery? We call it the INFJ. A saint's heart. A strategist's mind. The world needs both, and it needs them together, because that's how you hold someone's hand and still lead them out, how you challenge a system and still protect the people inside it, how you dream in full color and still deliver on a deadline. If that's you, keep going. If you love someone like this, stand with them.